Hello everyone and welcome to part 7 of the dev commentary and playthrough of my Pokémon Emerald Romhack, Pokémon Victory. I'm KFM and I'm the creator of this Romhack, and I figured I'd do a spoiler warning because I haven't done one in a while, I think, but I'll be spoiling pretty much every secret in this game, so if you haven't played this game yet, please go and check it out, because I think this game is best enjoyed going into it completely blind. But with that said, here we are in Verdanoak City. We just arrived here last episode after going through the Avana Woods. We rescued a lost Pokemon, stopped a burglar, and returned the lost Pokemon to its rightful owner. On the way we battled Amy, we saw a story event with an Absol, and now we are here in Verdanoak. So let's explore. Once you get to Verdanoak and head down to the Poké Center, you might notice this NPC here, who should look familiar to you because Granny is the only NPC that uses this sprite in the demo right now. She says hi to us and says that Professor Bristle is inside, looking for us. Now, quick note, this is the first time we see Granny's Pidgeot. This is sort of a hint that she is a pretty strong trainer. Maybe she likes flying types. Maybe that's relevant in the future, if the full game ever releases. Don't know, you'll just have to stick around and find out. But let's head inside. Inside we have Amy, first of all. I did say, or she did say, sorry, that she would rest a bit at the Poké Center after we fought her in the woods. She usually does, and she can usually be found in Poké Centers and be talked to. Here we have Professor Bristle. I could talk to him immediately, but I think I'm going to rest up first. And as we do rest up, he will grab our attention immediately afterwards. So you cannot rest up here without him talking to you. Alright, so he has something to tell us. He's shifted the focus of his Pokemon research, and right now he's studying Pokemon evolution. He explains what we already know, that Pokemon don't evolve just through leveling, and if you're new to the game, you might have realized by now that Pokemon don't evolve at their usual levels. If you've gotten your starter past level 14 or 16 or whatever it is, you might have noticed that they haven't evolved by themselves. But he tells us how to evolve our starter. So all evolution requirements for your starter are unlocked here, no matter which starter you pick. He explains that you can talk to people to find evolution requirements, and that sometimes items around the region can hold clues. And he finally reveals what to use these items for. We have to bring them to him. So he shows you this big screen, which I think my idea behind this screen was some kind of phone call, FaceTime, sort of Skype angle, or I guess Discord nowadays. So you can talk to him, and he'll tell you the requirements you've found. So this unlocks the screen in every single Pokemon Center. If we take a quick look at our Evo items pocket, we have a bunch of items here, and all of these items hold evolution requirements for specific Pokemon. You can try to guess which Pokemon it is by the item. It might be easy, might not be easy. I mean, I think there's a lot of Pokemon that are purple, for example, so. But it doesn't really matter because all you have to do is talk to the screen, call Professor Bristle. He pops up. And if you call him immediately after he leaves, he actually comments on the fact that you do. And he explains that he just got through the door, they were speeding back on Granny's Pidgeot when they were flying back. So they used the Pidgeot to fly back. And I think according to the Pokédex, Pidgeots are actually really fast. Alright, so if you have any items, you get a little sound cue. I don't know if you heard that, but it's a little blip. And that only happens if you've got items that he can take off your hands, and then you get a list of Pokemon that you've discovered requirements for. Now you can't do anything with this list. Pressing A here doesn't do anything on the Pokemon. It's just to show you which ones you unlocked requirements for. You can either press B or exit at the bottom to get out. And then he ends the call on you. If we check our bag, we can see that all the Evo items we had are now gone. We showed them all to him. They got used up, and he explained all of the requirements. Now the logic behind them disappearing just by showing him them through like a TV screen, don't know. I don't think it's something you'll think too much about. You could pretend that there's some kind of pocket on the TV screen that you can like put them into and transfer them to him. It doesn't super matter, but they disappear because I feel like I don't really want them clogging up your inventory. And this way it's very easy to see which Pokemon you can unlock requirements for with items in your bag, because it's always cleared up, right? A quick note on this before I keep going as well. If you don't talk, like, you cannot talk to him here. You can just not heal here ever and just keep going and not talk to him. Which, I mean, that's makes it annoying for you to play the game, I think, but you can absolutely do that. If you do that, and if you beat, I believe, the second gym, or maybe the third gym, I don't quite remember how I coded it, then he goes back home anyways, without ever explaining this stuff to you. But another NPC is spawned in every single Poke Center, who is a scientist, and he'll stand by the TV screen looking at it like this. So if you see him and talk to him, then he will explain the same thing. He's sort of like the professor's aide. You know, I think a lot of the real Pokemon games have a character that's known as the professor's aide that just helps out. So that's just like a backup if you don't talk to him, because I figure that people would try to skip that. Yeah, so just in case. Now let's see here. Right, these guys just have flavor text. I don't really talk to NPCs with just flavor text, but that is definitely a Yu-Gi-Oh reference. I've seen some people talk to them already, and they suspect that it's a Yu-Gi-Oh reference. It definitely is. This guy talks about life points. That's Yu-Gi-Oh. Talk to Amy. Wait, didn't I already talk to Amy? I feel like I did. Yeah, I think I did. She talks about the Absol and how people should give it a chance. I agree. As we head on outside, we see that Granny has indeed flown away on the Pidgeot. But let's just talk to everyone. This is also a reference to Pirates versus Ninjas. I don't know if this is actually a thing or just like an old meme, but I swear it was a thing when I was younger. This is the guy training to become a ninja. He says, "I am speed." I feel like that's not a Sonic reference, and I also feel like it is. I don't know. She doesn't say anything special. Pokemart. This bug catcher tells us that bug and grass type Pokemon like to use status effects, so stock up on curing items, which is a great idea because spoilers, we'll be facing some bug and grass types coming up. So I'm gonna get some paralyze heals, antidotes. I think we have. We do. Gonna get some potions. And let's see, do we need Pokeballs? We might as well buy 5 more, sure. And repels. We're fine on repels. 2 more, I guess. Right, also good to mention that since we beat the first gym leader, there's now more items to buy in the store. Every gym unlocks more items in the mart. Well, maybe not every gym, but there's functionality for items to be unlocked after every gym. I don't think I have enough items that I want in the store to unlock something after every gym, but after the first gym, we definitely unlock more stuff, like Super Potion, for example, you saw there. This house is Jessica's house. Her diary is here. You cannot read it. Don't really know what I have planned for that, but that's what I have in that house. I think I wanted to add a house for the gym leader because it makes sense that they live in the city. If you remember the other city with the gym leader, Riverhaven, Wada's house is actually there too. Both his grandparents' house and his house with the NPC with the Whooper is there. Now, something I wanted to mention is that you can do the gym in this town. That's how you progress the game, and you need to do that to progress. But you can also just go south and do the entirety of Route 7, I believe it is. You can go east, do Route 6, and you can actually go west and do Route 10. Now you can't keep progressing to the west after Route 10 because you'll need the 3rd gym badge, but you can just sort of muck around and not do the gym immediately. And I like that design because it allows player to... Ooh, what's that down there? Sneaky. Maybe we'll explore that later. I like the design philosophy of having players sort of have other things to do than only the roadblock in front of them. So I try to do that here. I try to do that in the first gym, Riverhaven, as well. I don't do it for the 3rd gym because the town is sort of situated so in such a way that I didn't have any space for more routes, or I felt like I didn't, so not there. This is Friend. Friend is here. She's visiting her family because she's actually from Verdenoak. If you remember Friend, she's originally we met her in Petty Old Village at the beginning of the game. She just shows up here and there. This is her mother. Doesn't say anything special. Now, let's talk to this man. Big looking guy that says technology is scary. That's a Pokemon reference, funnily enough. There's always, well, not always, but I think in the Generation 1 games and maybe some of the other games, there's this NPC that says technology is scary and nature is good. Doesn't say exactly this that I have here, but something similar. He's got a Numel. Who says Numa Numa? That might be some sort of a far-fetched song reference. If you wanted to, it could be. Kurt's house. Can't go in there without Cut. If you've played Pokemon before, especially Generation 2, you might know who Kurt could be. But we'll explore that once we have Cut. This is Friend's house. We've got a little Blossom. And then we've got a little girl who wants to be a Blossom. Very cute. We got the father, who comments that Oddish is his favorite Pokemon, but maybe, just maybe, when his daughters grow older, they'll be more like Bloom. I guess that's like a jab at teenage girls. I don't know. Verdenoak City, Nature City near Ancient Woods. This woman just welcomes you to the city. This little guy is running around the tree. He says, come join me in running around the ritual tree. You can absolutely do that. Nothing happens. But I have seen players just run around with him, which I think is nice. That tree might be one of these trees that I talked about earlier that you can remove, since he calls it a ritual tree and everything. That might be a clue as to how you remove them. Maybe you have to do a ritual. I don't know. Well, I do know, but I'm not going to tell you. This NPC talks about the woods. She says she's heard there's treasures in the deeper parts. If that's not a hint, then I don't know what is. Please go back and discover or explore the woods after you get Cut. Alright, I changed this guy's dialogue. He used to say that he fought the gym with steel types, but they didn't resist the gym leader. The gym leader being grass type, and that's because I've changed that typing interaction. But now he mentions that you can open the Pokemon summary screen, go to battle moves, and press the start button to change moves. And I don't think I've talked about that actually, so that's very nice of this guy to mention that. If you do that, open up the summary screen, go to the moves section, I believe he said, and press start. You can actually relearn moves, which is very, very handy. It's such a nice quality of life thing. Once again, that's not something I've implemented myself. That's RHH. Their Pokemon Emerald decompilation project has that built in. I think that's an amazing feature, and it fits my game really nicely. I see the appeal of not having that and having NPCs do it, so you can't just change moves out in the field and like restore PP and stuff, but I'm pretty sure I have an option enabled that makes it so that even if you change moves, you don't restore PP. Or even if I do have that enabled, that's going to be... Or if I don't have that enabled in the demo, it will be enabled for the full game. Because I don't want people restoring their PP using that menu. We wanted to venture further north, but we were blocked by a little tree. Yes, a little cut tree. In this house we have a gentleman that wants our money. If you want, I can tell you the secret to evolving both Metapod and Kakuna. That sounds awesome. Great, that'll cost you 1,000. That's unexpected, but we've got the money. Fun fact, the Metapod and Kakuna lines, or the Wheeland Caterpie lines, are the only lines that you can fully evolve, or sorry, maybe not fully evolve, but the only lines that you can evolve to Stage 3 Pokemon in the demo. Beedrill and Butterfree are the only Stage 3 Pokemon. Got a bit of a angry looking Farfetch'd there that we can't access yet. That's a Galarian Farfetch'd. So spoilers, that's in the game. Ranger headquarters. Let's head inside, or let's not actually, because there's a little path up here. You can't get over this, it's a ledge. I wonder what's on the other side. That's gonna become relevant in a way later episode actually. Probably episode 10, 11. Ranger headquarters. These NPCs don't really say anything. This guy's asleep in his chair. A healer lady, just because the ranger outpost had one, so I have one here too. It's no other reason other than flesh this place out with NPCs. This NPC has an Eevee next to her. I wonder, just wonder. Oh, and a PC by the way, so you can swap Pokemon around. But I wonder what happens if we talk to her. She explains that Eevee is a rare Pokemon that it can evolve depending on which stone you give it. She doesn't actually unlock the evolution requirements for you though, but she just tells you sort of that's how you do it. That is the only Pokemon in my game that evolves with stones, by the way. So if you find a stone, that's only gonna be for Eevee. There is no other Pokemon planned to be evolved through stones. And she says if we have any of the elemental stones, we can show it to her and she might give us an Eevee. And we have the water stone, if you remember, from Mount Lave. Up next to the Blastoise, we found the water stone. She tells you what Eevee becomes if you use a water stone on it. Would you like to take care of my Eevee for me? Absolutely, lady. And this is how you get the second Eevee of the demo. The first one is obviously from Lucy's house, which I've talked about earlier. If you don't have space for the Eevee, it goes in the box. So now we should have an Eevee in the box. Yes, we do. Level 15. You can evolve Eevee immediately using your stone. There's no level requirement, so we could have a level 15 Vaporeon right now. But I'm pretty happy with my team, so we're gonna keep Eevee in the box for now. These NPCs are a mother, a young son who is amazed at this kid who is playing a video game on his Game Boy. If you talk to this kid from the front, he says, "Watch and learn, kid." He's showing off. But a fun little interaction is that if you peer over his shoulder and talk to him from the back, you can see that he's playing your favorite RPG. Whatever that is. That's just a fun little text interaction. Again, something blocking your way up to the second floor, just like in the Ranger Outpost. I don't know what's up there. Right now there's nothing up there, so even if you cheated up to this staircase, you can't go anywhere. This is almost... Well, actually no, that guy's not me. Who's the guy that I wrote his dialogue from the heart? I think it's this guy down here. Most researchers prefer to sit in the dark, researchers being programmers in this case. But if I did that, I'd fall asleep on the spot. Yes, that is me. I'm not a caveman programmer. Well, I live in my cave, but I don't like it when it's dark because I just fall asleep. I like the sun. Now this lady is standing behind a desk. You can talk to her. She's in charge of ranger missions. If you remember from the previous episode, we got an emblem, and they told us to use this emblem to go on missions for us rangers and help us out. She is the one that takes care of this. Unfortunately, there's no missions in the demo, but she can share evolution requirement for Dojo, which, hey, we actually have a Dojo. Please come back once the full game is out, smiley face. Yeah, it's a bit of fourth wall breaking, which obviously won't be in the full game, but for the demo, I think it's fine. Although I do try to keep that to a minimum too, because I still want it to feel like a game, or a full game, a proper game. take a look at Dodo's evolution requirement. Level to 24 has a raised speed to max. Don't think we have a way to raise speed. No, we really don't. That's fine, we'll figure that out later. Alright, and up here is the gym. This guy tells us that fire and flying types are pretty good against the gym, which they are. Poison types are also very, very good. You can sneak up here. Here's another one of these weird tunnels. If you remember, we saw one in Lamina Town. Yeah, I was going to show you the map, but I don't need to. We saw one earlier in Lamina Town, so they might have something you can do with them. A little Oddish, a little Gloom, just hanging out. And here we have an entrance. Let's just go here first. We are again in the Ivana Woods, but this doesn't look like the Ivana Woods that we're used to. Or at least I don't think we saw anything that looked like this area. And you cannot go anywhere from here. There is this weird little bush here though, and there's one up there. I wonder what those are for. Well, that's gonna be for next episode as well. A little bit of history about this area up here. During most of this game's lifespan and during testing, I had a long ledge running across here. And it ended like somewhere like here or something. You could get to the Oddish and Gloom, but you couldn't get to this tunnel or this area. I also had an item up here, a nugget I believe, that you could pick up. And my idea was sort of like the players would go up here and see this ledged off area and be like, wow, how do I get there? That's so cool. I can get there from the forest somehow, or whatever this tunnel is. I wonder how I do that. And then later, once you figure out how to get through the forest, you could come out here. Or once you figure out what these tunnels do, you could also come here. And then your reward is sort of the item. Which I thought was cool. Sort of like some backtracking with HMs, spoilers, in the city. But it also created a scenario that it wasn't very fun to block this tunnel specifically off from the town. Because even if you can... Okay, I'm just going to say what these tunnels do now because I'm talking about it. You can warp between these tunnels, but I'll talk a bit more about that once we get to it. So players would warp to this tunnel to get to the city, then go down, jump down the ledge, go to the Poké Center, heal, and then they wanted to warp again, but then they couldn't because there was a ledge here. So I just sort of removed it. I think this is fine. It's better. So it stayed. Alright, the gym. If you're perceptive, you might see that there's an item up there behind the gym, but you can't walk here. Now, I've seen a lot of people try to walk here and be confused and be like, wow, this is a bug. But there's actually a cut tree behind it, so try talking to things or interacting with things that you can't get behind. Maybe a little bit of a mean blocker, but I don't think it's that mean. I mean, yeah, you'll figure it out. Alright, before we enter, I'm actually going to level up. Wait, how much XP do we have? Oh, we have a huge amount. Awesome. Let's see, we haven't evolved anyone. We could evolve Mudkip if we level it to 20. But that's going to be pretty useless in a grass gym, so I think we're going to go with Dodo, yeah. It will help us a lot against the gym later. Quick attack, nope, don't need that. Bulldoze, yes please. Remember, we are ground type. Dodo is flying ground in my game. So Bulldoze stab is very nice. Alright, good. Let's see what we have in here. Let's talk to this man. Oh, did I mention that gyms used to be gauntlets? I think I did. Yeah, I think I did. They're not gauntlets anymore. If you can't get past me, you'll never reach Jessica. Well, good thing we are about to get past you. Level 17. I've talked a bit about this before, but this area used to be way harder, or my game used to be way harder. But this gym specifically, or even more specifically the gym leader herself, was voted as the most difficult trainer or boss battle during testing. And it wasn't even close. I think I asked testers to rate all the boss battles on a difficulty scale between 1 and 5. And the numbers were quite varied, except for this gym leader that's coming up, who I think received a score of like 4.4 out of 5, which is almost, I mean, that's almost 5 in difficulty, that's almost maxed out difficulty. For the second gym leader, a little bit too strong. Okay, not even a little bit, she was way too strong. But people got past her. I think everyone did, and I was very impressed, but no. Again, that difficulty curve I really want got sort of butchered here because she was way too hard. So she's very nerfed, but I guess we'll talk more about her nerfs once we actually get to her. As we gust our way through all these grass Pokemon, bulldoze the poison types. Oh yeah, fun thing that I also don't remember if I mentioned, but I can talk a bit about it as we go here. Trainers start to have more Pokemon now as we get further into the game. Like in the beginning they'll have 1, 2, some might have 3, but most have 1 or 2. Gym leaders usually have a bit more, and rival battles might have some more. Amy always has 3, right, because she wants to show resonance. But regular trainers usually have 1, 2, but now they're starting to have 3. Whoops, forgot my antidote. But they never have 3 of the same type. So even these guys that are in the grass gym will not have 3 grass Pokemon. And that's because if they do have 3 of the same type, they obviously get a resonance. And as I've said before, regular trainers barely know what resonance is. They don't know it's a thing. So I don't want my regular trainers to have resonance this early on in the game. So as I have trainers with more and more Pokemon, I have to specifically make sure that they don't have Pokemon that resonate of the same type. Or 3 Pokemon that don't resonate of the same type on their team. Which might make you like a bit surprised to see so many non-grass Pokemon in a grass type gym, but I try to keep Pokemon that I feel are still relevant to either the gym or the type of trainers that we meet. So these rangers have Nidorans, because I feel like Nidorans are sort of like a forest Pokemon, you know? They're poison type, but like grass, bug, and poison sort of makes sense as a ranger forest kind of typing. Birds as well. Spoilers, but you'll see the gym leader have a bird or a flying type Pokemon. Because I can see rangers use birds in the forest, you know, to scout or whatever. So I think it fits thematically. I don't want these guys to have like a bunch of water Pokemon or fire Pokemon or psychic Pokemon. I mean, maybe they could have like 1, but it has to make some sense thematically. Let's see if you can keep up with me. Yes, let's see. The final gym trainer. Again, I don't have any puzzles in my gyms in the demo, and I'm not really planning on having any for the full release of the game. Gyms are just battles. But we'll see. I'm not entirely against puzzles. It's just that puzzles require you to make a puzzle. And for gyms specifically, they require you probably to make graphics and tile sets that work with the puzzle, which might be a bit of work for me. We'll see. We'll see what the future holds. As we have no problem with the Pokemon in here because we have so many flying types, as they send out their own flying type. But again, like I said, I feel like flying sort of fits the theme in here. Some experience for our Mudkip. This should be a 2-shot. Yes, it is. I think after this gym we want to level up Mudkip to 20 and evolve it. We'll get our Marshtomp, and I'll eventually get that ability that I really wanted to show you guys. Speaking of abilities, I haven't really talked much about how abilities work in this game. I've talked some about some new abilities. We saw Psyduck's new ability, we saw Voltorb's new ability. But I haven't talked about the fact that you actually unlock abilities through leveling in this game. I know that in episode 5, I believe, of my playthrough here, we evolved Tyro to 20. And then there is actually text that shows that I learned or unlocked a new ability. I was talking about something else and clicking through text haphazardly at the time, so I didn't pay attention to it. I saw it when I watched back the video. I also saw that there was actually a bug in that text, a visual bug. The string variable that shows the name of the ability that I unlocked was wrong. It said 20 instead of the name of the ability that I unlocked, but that's just another thing for me to fix later. But yeah, so abilities are unlocked through leveling, and if you go to a Pokemon, for example Tyro now, and you press ability here on the summary screen, you can quickly swap between the abilities you've unlocked. So we had Scrappy from the start, but now we could have Quick Feet, which we unlocked at level 20. So that's really good to know. Don't actually think I have an NPC that says that in the game, which I definitely should have somewhere, so that'll be something for me to add later. Alright, we are about to fight the gym leader. Healing everyone up, not that we're probably gonna use Mudkip. And I know what Pokemon she starts with, so I'm gonna be sneaky and change to Doduo. And here we have Jessica. She thanks us for finding the lost Pokemon. She says that we would be a great ranger, and she checks how many gym badges we have. And then the battle starts. Now this is a battle sprite I'm not too happy with, but again, I think it gets the general idea across of what she looks like. And she starts with Voltorb. But this is Hisuian Voltorb, so this is indeed a grass type. Now I just thought that was sort of a cool starter for her. And if you remember... Wow, am I gonna do this? Will I beat the gym leader if I do this? Yeah, I'll probably be fine. I'm gonna save state though, just because I'm a bit of a coward. Although if I wipe, I let myself wipe. Right, so... She has Grass Resonance, which means that she heals for 25% of the damage that she deals. 25% of direct damage that she deals. And I show Voltorb earlier, and Voltorb has an ability that makes it explode if you hit it hard enough without killing it. Now I talked about this a bunch in episode 5, I think it was episode 5, that I really wanted to show off Voltorb's ability because it has a really cool interaction in the second gym with something else, and that something else is Grass Resonance. Because if you hit this Voltorb hard enough, I don't think this will kill it. I think this will be just enough to put it in explosion range. Yep, even a crit. So it's gonna explode now. Boom. Which is Voltorb's ability. And then it heals itself. Because it has Grass Resonance. So it actually survives. Which is... I did not think of this when I, made these two mechanics separately. But in hindsight, yeah, that's how the code ends up. I was scared it would be like buggy because the game registers it as actually having fainted, but no, the healing happens before any checks for fainting is made on the Voltorb, so it's fine. But yeah, if you hit this Voltorb hard enough so it blows up, it just heals itself without dying. And this means that moves like Self-Destruct and Explode don't kill you with Grass Resonance. They keep you just barely alive. And then you can just keep using them. Which is very... Yeah, like when I first saw this, I saw it during testing because I didn't think of it myself. But people... And yeah, I mean, it was happening to people, so they commented on it. And a lot of people actually thought it was really cool. They thought it was really punishing, but really fun interaction. And I agree. That is like so cool. It's exactly that kind of weird stuff that I want to enable happening. Oh, wait, you saw the text bug again there. Sorry, quick tangent. It said Dodo will unlock the ability 20. Yeah, that's definitely a bug. I think we unlocked the ability Quick Feet, same as Tyrogue actually. That's just a string variable bug. But sorry, I got distracted. Yeah, so that interaction is between Voltorb and Grass Resonance is, yeah, very cool. But you see what I mean about the thing that I talked about in episode 5, that it's like a lot to show players immediately. Like if you've never seen the Voltorb's ability before and don't really pay attention to Grass Resonance, because I mean you have seen Grass Resonance before because you fought Amy, but it sort of just happens all at once and you might be a bit overwhelmed and not understand really what's happening, or at least I felt that way, so I wanted to introduce Voltorb's ability separately. But yeah, I decided to keep the interaction. I thought about coding it out so that Self-Destruct and Explosion would just kill your Pokemon and not heal you afterwards. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that was so cool, so it stayed. I don't think it'll be that broken like late game. Or rather, I hope that it won't be broken, but that it'll still be strong enough to be like a valid strategy. Because what a fun strat to just have a bunch of Pokemon that explode and then have Grass Resonance so they don't actually faint from it, they just take a bunch of damage. And then they could potentially explode again. Oh wow, that didn't knock it out. Yeah, I don't know, I think that's so cool. Don't do too much damage, please don't heal too much, good. Alright, anyways, enough about the Voltorb interaction. She has a Rookie D, a bird again. She's got 3 grass types and 1 bird. I sort of established a trend here where I really try to have Pokemon that are not of the gym leader's type as well. Like at least 3 of a type to have resonance, but then it's really fun to show you that you still have resonance on other types of Pokemon, and then you can sort of show what kind of cool interaction that creates. So from now on, get used to the fact that gym leaders will not have only Pokemon of their typing, they will have some other stuff. Nice crit. Jessica, this gym leader, is also coded to always send out her Breloom last. That did not used to be the case. I didn't actually know RHH had those functions or those AI behaviors, but she does, so she will always send out Breloom last, which is nice. I don't even think we have to switch. I was gonna switch to get Flying Resonance and be faster, because I don't think we outspeed this Breloom, but no, we don't. But I think we should be fine anyways. This Breloom used to be an absolute menace. It used to have like Leech Seed, Mach Punch, Cut, and Headbutt. It would Mach Punch your normal types and dark types and completely one-shot them because it's so strong. It would Headbutt everything that resisted grass type moves and fighting type moves, so nothing was safe. It's fully evolved, so it's got really good stats. It was a huge problem. Also used to be level 21, but now it's much nicer. I removed Headbutt and put in Growth. Growth is still threatening, but it's not gonna immediately one-shot you. It'll have to set up first, which is more fair. But with flying types, Breloom is not a problem. Breloom is 4 times weak to flying, so no issue for us here at all. As we defeat Gym Leader Jessica. Excellent. Vine Badge. Vine for a specific HM that we're going to get, not from Jessica. We will get an HM from Jessica, but an HM that we're going to get immediately after this in the next episode. So our level cap is now 25, and she gives us Cut, which is a grass type move in my game, because that's more useful than having it be a normal type move, which is kind of useless. Now she does say that HMs can be learned by Pokemon just like TMs, but HMs can still be used in the field without being taught to a Pokemon. So this is my way of sort of not forcing players to teach HMs to their Pokemon that they don't want to teach, but you still need a Pokemon that could learn the HM in your party. Does this make sense? So if I have a Bulbasaur, I could use it to cut trees, but I don't actually have to teach cut to the Bulbasaur. The game just checks, can Bulbasaur learn cut? Yes. Do we have cut in our inventory, the HM for it? Yes. Okay, good. Then we can cut down the tree. You don't need to teach it. Which I think is nice because people, me included, always complain about having to learn shitty moves to Pokemon to travel in the overworld. Nobody wants to do that. But I also sort of like having Pokemon use the HMs, because I know some Romhacks give you like items that you use to cut down trees. Like they'll give you an axe, and your character, your player, just cuts it down a tree. That's fine, but I think it's cool when the Pokemon do it. So this is my middle ground solution for that. The two rangers in this gym come up and get Jessica. She's a very busy woman. She has a lot of stuff she has to do. She says that if we want another gym badge, we should head south to Rotesi Town. That's my way of sort of nudging you in the right direction. You don't have to go immediately south, you can go anywhere you want. But south is the main way forwards. And if we look at the map, which I'll do very quickly, you can sort of see that south is the way to the next town. Rotesi Town. Alright. Gym completed. But I think that we are going to end this episode here. I had some more stuff planned for this episode, but time sort of ran away as I ramble on, as I usually do. But that's fine. We'll cover everything in the next episode. I think what I want to do is go back a little bit. We're going to backtrack through Route 6. And we're going to evolve Pidgey. I think we'll try to evolve Mudkip. Do we have enough experience for that? Maybe not. We do. So we'll evolve Pidgey, we'll evolve Mudkip, and then we'll head into the Ivana Woods again with our cut HM that we've just received. And we'll explore all the secrets there. I said so before, but there is a huge, huge secret in the woods coming up, so definitely don't miss the next episode. It's a very fun secret. It's something I'm very proud of, coding-wise, and I think it's very fun to use for players. And it's completely missable. You don't need to get it to advance the game, so make sure you definitely explore the woods if you play this game yourself. With all that said, thank you everyone very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.